Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today on what is video number 2 out of 2 for all of you lovely people. I dropped video number 1 not too long ago actually, and I'll leave a link for you right here if you haven't caught the latest on the news. Chelsea news, Thiago Silva's birthday, Thiago Silva apparently trying to set a standard, and according to Matt Law, have to stress, according to Matt Law and his article, there are certain players in the Chelsea squad that deem it as bulking. Imagine bulking. Sulking. Sulking, not bulking. Why have I got bulking in my head? But certain Chelsea members of the squad seem to be a little bit too intimidated by it, and they think, oh no, what, is he off on one now? You know, that is all up there. As well as that, I discussed the whole Conor Gallagher being given the captain's armband. Should it have been given to him? Is there is it just temporary? Is it just one little moment? Or is it something in the grander scheme of things? Should it be celebrated? Should it not? That's all in video number 1. Much appreciated. Now you have come to video number 2, and I have the solution, I believe, in what is going to at least help Chelsea get back up to winning ways. Now, I've come up with 5 things that will help Chelsea start winning games again. 5. Right? Not quite 6. 6 belongs to George. That's 6 things we learned, and that's his thing. I've gone to 5 on this one occasion. 5 things that Chelsea need to do to get back to winning ways. So, we're going to get cracking. Before we do, I want to let you guys know the preview for tomorrow will be dropping on here to Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Some people are looking at Aston Villa and thinking, oh, look, they lost in Warsaw in the Europa League. The Conference League. No, Europa. The Conference. They played Conference. They played Conference, right? Anyway, somewhere in Europe, they lost. They lost. Actually, it was Conference because Brighton played the Europa League. Aston Villa played the Conference League. So they lost 3-2. Some fans are looking at Aston Villa and thinking, oh, well, look, they lost 3-2, so Chelsea are going to beat them at the bridge. It's not quite how it works. And I'll explain why in the preview tomorrow. But I thought instead of just putting everything into the preview, which you can find here, and in order to be here for that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified, and smash the like button if you do enjoy this. I thought, why not separate it? We'll talk about the game tomorrow. But in the grander scheme of things, 5 things that Chelsea need to do to get back to winning ways. Let's get cracking. Number 1. And this one is aimed at Pochettino, right? I've got a few that are aimed at Poch and a few that are not. Number 1 is aimed at Pochettino. Number 1 is stop overcomplicating. Play a left back in left back position. Play Levi Colwill in his normal centre back position. And play a winger in a winger position. That's it. It's easy. We have to stop overcomplicating and trying to get such a young and inexperienced team, which we have now come to realise, to do so many complicated things at once. They are not capable. If there was experience in the team to balance that out, and good experience, capable, technical experience, then we could try something like that. But we're not Man City. We're not even Arsenal. We're not Liverpool. We're not any of these teams that are ahead and they have the players, they have the tools to be able to incorporate something a little bit more complex. For us, that's going to come later. So for now, let's not overcomplicate the game of football. Let's bring it back down to basics. Please, if you're going to play Ben Chilwell, because he's the captain and he's going to be on the pitch, stick him at left back, and that's his role. Nothing more. Levi Colwill is a central defender. Put him in his traditional left centre back role and leave him there, please. Let him cook. Winger, we have options. You want to play Mudryk because you feel like he's going to eventually start banging? Okay, we run with Mudryk. We've got Ian Maatsen that can play there. Stick Ian Maatsen on the pitch because he can play in a more forward role. But please play players in their positions. Right? That needs to be key. Flat back 4, get them to play in a normal, simple shape, and let's start moving that way. Instead of trying to get rows of players to shift over, one player moves forward, when he tracks back, the other one's got to bomb a bit more forward, some have got to come inverted, players need to shift over, players need to come in and move, compensate for his teammate. No, we're not there yet. Simple shape, right? Players have eyes, players can get instructions, they are professionals and they can deal with that to a certain degree. But right now, it's a young team, get them doing the basics, right? Simple formation, we keep it flat, and we start moving. Because I believe there is talent in this squad to be able to get things going, but we need simple organisation and the rest can come later. I truly believe there's enough talent to pick up results, but we're overcomplicating everything. So Poch, stop overcomplicating. Number 2, this is to the players. This is key. Players need to start, because I had a problem with their IQ, right? So players need to simplify themselves first as well. What do they need to do? Players, lift your heads, right? Not only lift your heads, don't hesitate to pick out passes and shoot as much as possible. What do I mean by that? When I say lift your heads, I see many players receive the ball and they're looking down. It's basic, right? It's basic. They're looking down and then they're having to look and then they're having to go, okay, what do I do now? Too late. You've lost the ball. You've lost the ball, mate. Or we get into many scenarios like we've seen. Bournemouth gave us loads of space, we have to be honest. Players in central positions, central areas, get the ball. They're looking at the ball, they're looking down. They start running, they lift their head up then, and then they're running and thinking, what do I do now? I've got an option there and I've got an option there, and I think I might have an option there, but I'm trying to decide what to do. No, too late. Too late. Too late. You need to be completely aware of your surroundings. Lift your head up. You're going to call for the ball already knowing exactly what you're going to do when you turn and you run with it. You already know. You already know. You know that Jackson's going to be making a run. You know you've got an option on your right-hand side. You know you're going to be receiving the ball, and those are going to be your 2 options. Then as soon as you receive the ball, you know you're going to be looking and analysing at that point. Okay, now I know exactly what I'm going to do. Don't hesitate. We have players that hesitate. They get the ball, you can see their mind working. They're trying to make a decision. Decide, and then stick with it. Go with it. Go with it. You see Jackson making a run? Through ball. Go with it. Go with it. Don't waste time. You lose that extra 1 or 2 seconds. That's going to be 1 or 2 seconds to give the opposition and their defenders to be able to gain even more ground and block the pass or cut off the attacker or make a tackle or catch up. That's also part of our problem. So there's that. The other point was, please shoot. How many times do we have, even on the edge of the box, even outside the box, if there's an look, we are in a situation right now. If we have an opportunity to shoot, leather it. Leather it. Smash it. You have options. If your option, I want to stress this, right? If our option at times during games is to go wide and the player has a chance to shoot instead, shoot. Don't go wide. Because what do we do when we go wide? We go wide, we know what's going to happen next. You're all probably at the screen right now yelling it at me. We're going to cross, aren't we? We're going to cross. How many successful crosses have we had this season? But barely any. We don't cross well. And when we do cross well, we don't have the options in the box. We have a small team. In terms of height, we have a small team. Nicholas Jackson's also not great with his head. We have to be honest. So you're almost cutting yourself off if you just rely on spamming crosses into the box. We're not going to score. We need to score. The way to be able to get a goalkeeper scared, a defence scared, is just to start peppering. Start levering the ball. Just shoot. You do that enough times, not needlessly, by the way. I'm not saying you've got a player in front of you that you know is going to block the shot and you're like, I'm just going to shoot. No. If an opportunity has arisen, you've received the ball, you have space, you can see there is a way to shoot, don't hesitate, shoot. It's been a long time since we were scoring goals from outside the box, taking chances. You never know. It might get a deflection. It might trickle into the bottom corner. You're 1-0 up. Confidence boost. But ultimately, in order to get the other team thinking, oh my God, we're under attack here, shoot. If you constantly shoot, even psychologically, the other team are going to be like, bloody hell, we're trying to hold on to a lot here. You're just shooting. Go for it, because shots are the ones that turn into goals. Goals win you games, you get confidence, and we are lacking that completely because when we get to the final third, we don't know what to do. So please, opportunity presents itself, hit it. Right? That is number 2. Number 3, we turn back to Pochettino. Use a number 10 to commit an extra attacker and keep Nicholas Jackson in the box. I want to stress this. This is one thing I think Nicholas Jackson gets unfairly criticised for. Is when he has to drop deeper than usual. He has to drop deeper in order to compensate for there being no number 10. When Nkunku's there or even Chukwuemeka's there, Jackson had no business dropping deep. He just didn't. Which means that he's in the box. Which means that if there is balls coming into the box, he's there. How many times have we seen recently where balls come flying into the box, he's not there yet. He's still running in. Or he's a second too late. It's happened. It's because he's dropping too deep. But I understand why he's dropping deep, because he's got to link up the play. There's no number 10. We've only got midfielders that are playing in the pivot or they're playing in the midfield three, and they're not coming forward enough in order to allow Nicholas Jackson to just stay in the box. We need Jackson to just stay in the box. Don't come deep. Just stay there. If we have a 10, that's exactly what he's going to do. So please, against Aston Villa, I want to see, personally, and I'm going to give you a little inkling to my lineup, I want to see Cole Palmer in that number 10 role. Hands down. That's it. Stick Cole Palmer in that 10 behind Jackson, and the instruction to Jackson is stay in the box or come onto the edge of the box. That's as far as you're going. Do not drop deeper. We don't need you there. Unless if we are completely defending as a team, then obviously you're going to run back. You're not just going to stay up there. But if we are with the ball, you got no business dropping deep to link up. Let the 10 do that. So you stay in the box and let the ball come to you. Create the space for yourself. Create the opportunity for yourself. And play as a striker. So that for me is number 3, and it's crucial because we've not seen it since Chukwuemeka got injured. We need to play over 10. We got Cole Palmer in, he can play in that position, play him. Simple as that. So that's number 3. Also, when Nkunku does come back, we're gonna revert to that anyway, so we might as well start now. Right? Number 4, Pochettino, once again, and this is something I've not seen anyone say. And I need to stress that I think this is important. Number 4 for me is play defensive and on the counter when required to do so. What do I mean by that? I'm not saying just park the bus and do nothing. But we are trying to be an attacking team. We're trying to play with the ball. How many times do we come up against a low block and we have no idea what to do? Now, I hope I've provided some sort of solution by telling the players to lift their heads up and start shooting. Fingers crossed that is going to at least have some sort of an effect. But even then, how many times do we come up against a low block and we struggle? So why not in those games try and change the dynamic? It's risky, but you can, right? If on one condition, and I stress this, on one big condition, we need to have a shape that we know the opposition isn't going to get past. Simple. In the same way that teams get into low blocks and we can't get past, those same teams need to come to us and not get past. If we can change the dynamic of a game by getting and tempting and persuading the opposition to start coming at us away from their low block, give them a little bit of confidence to start pushing out a little bit at times, and this is where it gets risky. It's been done before, and I remember reading it. This goes back to Jose's handbook, right? Because I remember Jose done this, I think it was in Porto. I think he told his team to willingly give up possession. Give them the ball on purpose in a certain area of the pitch in order for a counter to be launched and get a goal, and that's exactly what happened. They scored. These things can happen, but they're risky. They're risky. Now, this is why I'm saying you need to be solid. You need to be tight enough, and you need to have players and a shape that is strong enough to be able to not concede stupidly. Right? If we are tight enough and tactically we've got players placed in certain positions on the pitch where we are a block, and if we come a bit low, the opposition can't get past, that is where we can change the dynamic of a game. If we're coming up against a team that's playing in a low block, willingly give them the ball. Give them the ball and start giving them a little bit of confidence over 10-15 minutes to start coming at us and start to get them believing that, yo, lads, we might have a chance. Let's go and score. And as soon as they think that, go low, take the ball off them, counter-attack. We've got speed. That's one thing we do have. We've got speed. It's a risky move and it's only going to work in certain games. But I truly believe against teams where we have better talent than them, teams that set up low against us, Try and change the dynamic of the game. Don't just keep going, they're sitting low, we can't get past, and we're just going to do that for 90 minutes and not score. No, sometimes you have to think a little unorthodox, and it means having to be very strong defensively in order to try and get the other team tempted to come out a little bit and then hit them on that counter. You hit them on that counter and you get a goal, you win 1-0, you take 3 points. At that point, thank you very much. And then at that point, they're forced to attack because they're now losing the game, which means you can go low. So this is why I was saying, in certain games against certain opponents, don't be scared to go to a defensive system, to go to a lower block than usual. Play the dirty side of the game sometimes when it needs to be done, instead of just trying to constantly play a beautiful attacking possession-based system against everybody and anybody. That's not how football works. You have to set up at times according to the opponent that's in front of you. And if we can't get past a low block because it's just too bloody difficult, well, plan B, try and get them out. Try and pull them out. And if they want to go to a 0-0, well, we'll go to a 0-0. But at that point, we'll just start, hopefully, just peppering the goal and fingers crossed we end up scoring one. But you got to try. So this is where I believe at certain games, certain times, we have to go to the dirty side of the game and try and get that nitty-gritty 1-0 when it's required. Because what happens when we do that? It builds confidence. A win's a win. If you do it clean or you do it dirty, a win's a win. You walk away from a game having won. And especially right now. Unlike before, I remember when we used to do it a lot. And then some fans, I said some, I personally never had this, but there were some fans that would go, oh man, I'm kind of having enough of this. Like, I want us to win beautiful now. I've had enough of winning dirty. I never had enough of winning dirty. I don't mind winning dirty. But there are some fans that got frustrated, like, okay, look, I've had enough winning 1-0, Right now, with what we've been through over the last year and a half, would you take that? I would take the dirtiest 1-0. I would take the dirtiest 1-0 that other fans would look at and go, bloody hell, that's a disgrace. I'd go, I don't care. I took 3 points. Deal with it. That's where we are. So you know what? When you take those wins, you take those sort of results, it's still a win. And it still builds confidence in those players that go, yeah, bloody hell, we done it dirty, but we won, lads. For the young lads, that's going to help astronomically. So, in certain games, do it. Do it. Don't just rely on one way and one way only, because you're going to come across teams that you think it's going to work against and it doesn't. So, that's option number 4. And number 5 is at Poch again. And this one, I don't want it to seem like what we were trying to tell Graham Potter to do. But I feel like in the last couple of weeks, Pochettino's demeanour has kind of changed a little bit compared to what we saw in pre-season at least. So I want to say this. My number 5 is for Poch to shout and correct the players when required. Not to just be on the touchline and just not really say much and be like, it's okay. Like, no. When it's required to go at a player, go at a player. No matter how young or whatever they are, no, go at them. Unless you know that they've got some type of character where they can just easily, switch. They can easily, lose their heads. Then you might have to manage them differently. But I don't feel like we have that. In terms of just when a player does a mistake or there's something silly that's been committed, right? We lose the ball very needlessly. Go crazy. Go crazy. Not only does that correct the player, but it shows to all the fans that, Poch is on it. Poch knows exactly what's going on. Don't worry. And that's going to get confidence in the fan base in you. So in terms of that intensity and that personality that we did see, surprisingly, because I never expected it from Pochettino. Remember before we got Poch, I was saying I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he's got that, right? It turns out he did. That's why I got on board. I'm like, yo, okay, Poch. I didn't know Poch was like this. We saw it throughout pre-season. Even that game against Liverpool. Since that point, it's just kind of deteriorated. It's just like vanished. I mean, the last game against Bournemouth, he was just... I'm like, Poch, what are you doing? No. Show yourself. If you show yourself, you get the entire fan base behind you. That's crucial and that's important. So... that's my number 5, and not just for the fan base, but for the players. So then they switch on, they realise that there's pressure, they realise that there's intensity, they realise that they're being watched, and they can't make stupid mistakes time and time again. If not, the manager's going to flip. They need to have that in their heads, that level of, it's not fear, but it's fear. Do you know what I mean? At the same time, it's kind of like, oh my God, I just don't want to get that into that situation. I just don't want that to happen. So it keeps them alert. We need that pressure. So that comes from the manager. That comes from Poch. So Poch, I'm watching you. That's my number 5. So ladies and gentlemen, that's my 5 things that personally I think Chelsea need to do to start winning games. So let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I think for now, in terms of what the squad has, that's all we can possibly do. We can't exactly call on experience right now, can we? Because we don't even have any. We have some, barely any. We've got Thiago Silva. You can count Sterling as one, even though he's not a player to just rely on. And, yeah. Reece James, Chilwell, I guess. That's basically it. So, we can't really turn to that side. But in terms of what we have and what we can use, I think those 5 things are going to help the team. Or will get the team up and running, at least. So, let me know if you agree or disagree. Much appreciated. If you have any additional points, let me know in the comment section below. And I will definitely be responding to some of you. And tomorrow, we're here for the preview. So make sure that you guys are going to be here for that as we get into the nitty-gritty of what to expect from Chelsea versus Aston Villa. I will be giving you a very honest preview. So make sure you guys are here for that. To be here for that, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified once I have uploaded. Smash like button if you have enjoyed this. And check out the socials. They are on screen for you right now, as well as in the description. You can hit the description and those links will direct you straight to all those platforms. Give us the follow. Much appreciated. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Chelsea Aston Villa preview. Let's get this bad boy on the road. And let's hope we don't drop more points. I'll tell you exactly what I'm feeling tomorrow. I'll see you then. Have a good one, people. See you tomorrow in the preview. Have a good one. Take care. And peace.